Good evening, and welcome to the 2020 Kirkus Prize Awards Ceremony. I'm your host, Meg Laborde-Keene from Kirkus Reviews, and I'm coming to you live from the beautiful Central Public Library in downtown Austin, Texas. Now, in a typical year, this room would be filled with the brightest literary stars in America, the Kirkus editors and staff from New York and around the country, publishers, agents, and of course readers clamoring to meet their favorite writers. The room would be loud with laughter. You'd be able to feel the nervous energy of the finalists, and the champagne would be flowing. You see, the Kirkus Prize is not what you may imagine when you think of literary awards ceremonies. There's no formal banquet or assigned seating. It's a cocktail party with a glamour and energy all its own. Last year, when Entertainment Weekly wrote about the major literary awards, they referred to the Kirkus Prize as Golden Globe-esque. It's fun and it's unpredictable. And tonight, we want to share that energy with you at home and give you a glimpse of what it's like to attend the ceremony in person. To that end, our editor-at-large, Megan Labrise, caught up with some of this year's finalists so we could connect with them as if we were all at a party together. You can view the full conversations on Kirkus.com, but here's a sneak peek.
In a more typical year, we would all be gathered at the Austin Public Library for the ceremony. There's a cocktail party beforehand, mixing and mingling, everybody in their finery. I wanted to ask, where could we find you as a finalist before the awards ceremony? I mean, for myself, I'll say you can usually find me by the mini desserts table, trying to make the mini desserts into the size of a full-size dessert. So we're gonna go around one more time. Where would we find you before the award ceremony?
I have a leg up because I attended the award ceremony in 2018. So I know the library has that amazing deck area, and that's pretty much where I hung out that last time. I mean, it was so lovely to be with the other authors. It was also close to the bar. And so that's where you're gonna find me.
What is the highest compliment a reader could pay you?
I think one of the biggest compliments I like to receive about the book, it's a weird one because it doesn't sound like a compliment, but I like when readers tell me at the very end of it they feel a little bit bereft. I like when they tell me that the characters felt like they're concerned and they're worried about what their life looks like now or where they're going or what happens. When I read, certainly the books I'm drawn to are where the characters feel like they no longer belong to the author, but they are either my companion or my care. And that for me is sort of how I like to engage with the book as a reader. So one of the biggest things that I love is when people sort of write to me and say, where are they? How are they? You know, what's going on with them? And of course, nothing is because they end on the very last page. But that's like I think for me, that's my favorite compliment.
After the Kirkus Prize ceremony every year, I host the annual post-Kirkus Prize karaoke at a very large private room in Austin, Texas. Would you come to karaoke, yes or no? If yes, would you sing? What would you sing, Amy?
Absolutely, and it would be hard to choose, but it would be something from the Xanadu soundtrack. This is old school Olivia Newton-John. I've just gotten back into roller skating, so it's got to be Xanadu.
Eric?
I would be willing to sing. I don't think you would want me to sing. If I had to pick, I love the 60s. I love the Beatles, Chicago. And then later in the 60s, I'm a big fan of Billy Joel. I don't think he's schmaltzy at all.
How'd you hear the news? How'd you feel?
I mean, for me, how I felt, you know, I've been fortunate to have won this award before. And so because of that, I think I recognize that this is one of the few awards that, to me at least, that honors strictly the integrity of the work. Like when I won a couple years back, it was for a book that didn't sell, like that nobody was checking for, but that I thought was the best work I'd ever written from a line level and from just sort of like the integrity of the actual work. And so for Kirkus to sort of honor that was a big deal for me. And so because of that, I think I'm really grateful because though this is the topic of the time, though this is a topic of all the time in this country, it feels like Kirkus honors the work for for the writing of the thing, right? For like a holistic view of it, right? Where it's the subject matter and what the story is and the writing of it. And I don't know if every award does that so much. And so for that, I'm always honored whenever Kirkus sort of gives a nod to anything that I'm a part of.
The Kirkus Prize recognizes remarkable achievement in writing and illustration. That recognition comes in the form of one of the richest literary awards in the world, $50,000 in 3 categories: fiction, nonfiction, and young readers literature. In addition to $50,000, each winner is awarded a trophy. The trophy is a commissioned art piece created by the duo Vezzini and Chen in London. Every detail is handmade, from the porcelain pages of the open book to the hand-blown glass dome and solid base. We create these each year as a gift of appreciation for the winner's contribution to our industry, our art, and our world. This year, perhaps more than any other, the contribution of great literature is profound. When days are dark, books offer us an escape. When we need understanding, books offer us brilliant new perspectives. And the greatest writing, the kind of writing we celebrate tonight, gives us the opportunity to experience the world through another's eyes. It's one of the most powerful acts of empathy. And when have we needed empathy more than this year? In the conversation Megan Labrise had with the fiction finalists, a part of the conversation not seen in the short preview we aired tonight, there is a discussion of a compliment paid to Tola Rotimi Abraham. An NPR critic said her book will, quote, destroy you. And he meant that as a good thing. To me, that phrase really captures the power of this art. 2020 has done a fine job of destroying us in real life, but the books that reach the level of Kirkus Prize finalists have a way of cutting through our external reality and touching the exact feelings that need attention. When a book destroys us, grief we feel in the abstract finds a channel. The writers we celebrate tonight give all the complex feelings we share in 2020: loneliness, purpose, love, community, and loss, a safe place to be felt and explored. Last year, our judges awarded the Kirkus Prizes to The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead, which went on to win the Pulitzer Prize. How We Fight for Our Lives by Saeed Jones, who made that night unforgettable. And New Kid by Jerry Craft, which went on to become the first graphic novel in history to win the Newbery. Megan Labrise connected with them to hear about that experience. Let's take a look.
What was your experience of that night like?
Total shock, because I had gotten, like, I knew kids liked the book, but I didn't know if I would get critical acclaim for New Kid. And I remember going on the plane is like, I felt like I was going up against, with Kwame Alexander and Kadir Nelson and Angie Thomas, and it was like going up against the Avengers, and at the last moment, I was like, yeah, you know what, let me just jot down a few notes just in case I win. So I actually wrote some stuff on a little Post-it note and stuck in my back pocket. But before then, it was just like, especially graphic novels sometimes are not taken seriously. So I got to the event and didn't even get a table. I was standing in the back with my editor, and I was filming it and expecting to post like, hey, congratulations, Kwame Alexander, here he is. I was going to text it to him. And when they called my name, it was just very surreal.
Saeed, that night I was standing by you when you were announced as the winner, and it remains one of my very favorite memories of that trip. What was that experience like for you?
I mean, it's pretty overwhelming. It happened to be about the Kirkus Prize and the Texas Book Festival, we're like halfway into the book tour for How We Fight for Our Lives. So that's also kind of a surreal experience where you're kind of on one mode and then you're swept into, you know, the glamour and the glitz and, you know, do you want a glass of champagne and all of that of kind of like an awards ceremony.
Also, you were able to join us in Austin that year. So I wanted to ask you how you received the news and what that experience was like.
So in 2015, I was there as a judge, and just a lovely, it was like a rooftop penthouse or something, and just lovely to see, you know, great art be recognized. So Ta-Nehisi Coates, I think, won that year. And, you know, anytime you can celebrate writing was awesome, and I was glad to be part of that process. And I remember going to the party for an hour and then going home to the hotel because I had to work on Underground Railroad because I had to hand it in so I could get paid because I was running out of money. So, so I was working for Kirkus, and then I went home to try and finish my book so I could pay my mortgage. And it worked out, you know, I did get it in on time. And so it was memorable for working and also for, you know, hanging out with some great people like you. And then 5 years ago, I couldn't make it because I was on tour in Germany for the Nickel Boys. But my tour was cut short. I had a family member who got sick. So I came back to New York and spent, you know, time with them, hospital. And the day of the awards, I was at the hospital and then went to see Parasite because I wanted to pick me up, apparently. And I was like, I'm not going to win. Everything's terrible. Things are going wrong. So I went and saw Parasite and walked out with my phone. I was like, hey, you know, you won. I was like, what? And, you know, I associate the prize with like working hard, other writers, you know, doing their best and being recognized. And then my own work being recognized. Like, you never know how it's going to turn out. You know, life is, you have ups and downs, and then suddenly, you know, something you've worked on, other people appreciate as much as you do. And it doesn't always happen that way. And when it does, you're very lucky. So both times, you know, both Kirkus nights have been memorable in different ways, and I feel very fortunate.
Do you have any words of encouragement or congratulations or greeting or advice for this year's finalists?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Appreciate it and keep going. You know, I think it's a real vote of confidence that the Kirkus folks have put in you and the judges, and you should take that as the blessing that it is. You know, they appreciate what we did last time. They're looking forward to what you do next time.
But I would say beyond that, you know, and in terms of advice for this year's winners, you know, you have earned this joy, and finalists as well. You've earned this joy. And, you know, even beyond a pandemic, I think it can be difficult to like metabolize these kind of like career miracles that if we're lucky enough, we get to experience. But you've earned this. And I hope, you know, amidst everything, all the tumult and grief and pain that is happening, you can grant yourself time to, you know, do karaoke in your living room or, you know, get some Prosecco delivered or whatever, celebrate it. Because as these three writers can tell you, we just really don't know what's on the other side of this good news. And I want you to be able to look back and have fond memories either of the work you did, inspired by, you know, this prize, or the fun you had.
I love Saeed Jones's advice to our finalists to metabolize this career miracle. And just in case career miracle seems hyperbolic to you, I'd like to share some data that illustrates just how hard it is to be named a finalist for the Kirkus Prize. For the 2020 Kirkus Prize, our critics read 3,308 fiction books, 2,713 nonfiction books, and 4,524 books for young readers. That's a total of more than 10,000 books, which means less than 0.2% of the books we reviewed were named to our list of finalists for the Kirkus Prize. Every year, the editors of Kirkus Reviews create a panel of judges for the three categories. Each panel is made up of one bookseller or librarian, one Kirkus critic, and one author. To be eligible for the prize, a book must first earn a starred review. Then, The judges select 6 titles in each category as finalists and deliberate to choose the winner. I want to welcome our finalists who are joining us live from around the world this evening, in America, London, and as far as Malaysia. Our first award will be in the category of Young Readers Literature. The judges for the 2020 Kirkus Prize in Young Readers Literature are author Nicola Yoon, librarian Roxanne Shu Feldman, and Kirkus critic Kyle Lukoff. The finalists for this year's Kirkus Prize in Young Readers Literature are Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Our critic said, every line is laced with betrayal and longing as the teens struggle with loving someone despite his imperfections. A standing ovation. I Am Every Good Thing by Derek Barnes, illustrated by Gordon C. James. Lays the foundation for Black readers to go forth into the world filled with confidence and self-assurance. The title says it all. Black boys are every good thing. Fighting Words by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. Refusing to soft pedal hard issues, the novel speaks with an astringent honesty, at once heartbreaking and hopeful. The Girl and the Ghost by Hannah Alkoff. Grippingly heart-wrenching and speaks to deeper themes of family trauma and friendship. A fascinating, page-turning tale. We're Water Protectors by Carol Lindstrom, illustrated by Michaela Goad. An inspiring call to action for all who care about our interconnected planet. And Stamped by Jason Reynolds and Ibram X. Kendi. Worthy of inclusion in every home and in curricula and libraries everywhere. Impressive and much needed. As you may have noticed, this category includes 2 picture books, 2 middle grade books, and 2 young adult or teen books. Every one is a triumph. Congratulations to all the finalists. The winner of the 2020 Kirkus Prize for Young Readers Literature is I Am Every Good Thing by Derek Barnes and Gordon C. James.
Y'all can come over. Wow, thank you. Holy moly. Is it, should we speak? Come on, come on. No, no, no.
Woo!
So,
Come here, Diego. Come here, baby.
so
Sorry.
thank you. Should we say something? Okay, because I'm just over here hugging people. Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody who read the book, everybody who enjoyed the book, to my son Gabriel, who's on the cover. Can you say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Gabe.
And my wife Ingrid for putting up with me being gone when I finish these books. And my daughter Astrid, who is not here at theater practice, and to my parents who have just always put so much behind me. And I just want this book to be out there in the world so that our boys and all the people who love them and the people who don't even know them can know that they are important and worthy and valued. And if they're not getting it at home, they will get that message through this book. If they're not getting it in the classroom, they will get that message through this book. And I'm glad Derek wrote it and that I got a chance to work on it.
Hey.
Man, I'm glad you went first, G.
I'm glad you went first. Y'all know, Jason, I'm an emotional kind of cat, man. So, man, I just wanna thank Kirkus for always showing us love. I want to thank all the judges. My wife just walked in the door. She is a physician and she does COVID testing twice a week. And I'm so proud of her. And we've been together for 20 years. I used to sneak in her dorm room. We'd be up late, like 2 o'clock in the morning, writing poetry. And I never thought it would lead to this, you know. Man, everybody's work, every single writer and illustrator in this category, and everybody who made it as a finalist, you are doing God's work. You know, we need you right now. You know, the children that read your books. I always think about, legacy and the work that we create. You want to create something that lives long past the time you are on this planet Earth. And I think about you want to create something that makes people feel good about themselves. You want to create something that allows folks to uh, see the humanity in others. And I think Gordon and I did that with this book. And I'm so glad that we hooked up in 2016 and made Crown an Ode to the Fresh Cut. And I think we're going to keep making books together, brother, if you don't mind. Man, thank y'all so very much, man. Thank y'all for making my week. Let's go Georgia. Let's go Arizona. Let's go Pennsylvania. Let's do it, baby.
That's
Thank
right.
y'all.
Thank you to everybody else in the category. I wish I was there to meet y'all in person. In person. So.
Yeah. Wow. Thank y'all.
Congratulations, Derek and Gordon. You are now the first two-time winners in the history of the Kirkus Prize. Author Nicola Yoon prepared this statement from the judges about why they chose your book.
I Am Every Good Thing by Derek Barnes, illustrated by Gordon C. James. I Am Every Good Thing is a beautiful, tender, and uncompromising celebration of Black boyhood and all its possibilities. James's gorgeous museum-worthy oil paintings shine with vibrant colors and expressive figures, depicting Black boys in roles that range from thoughtful philosopher to zooming superhero. Barnes's exuberant and poignant text is not only a joyous affirmation of identity, but a child's courageous demand to define himself and be seen on his own terms, a universal human right reinforced by timeless artwork. I Am Every Good Thing is a bold, loving proclamation that stirs the heart with the power of its message and masterful delivery.
Now I'd like to introduce the judges in the category of nonfiction. Author Kiese Lehman, bookseller Nick Buzansky, and Kirkus critic Erica Rohrbach. The finalists for this year's Kirkus Prize in Nonfiction are A Furious Sky by Eric J. Dolan. Our critic called it a sweeping, absorbing history of nature's power. Fathoms by Rebecca Giggs. A thoughtful, ambitiously crafted appeal for the preservation of marine mammals. The Address Book by Deirdre Mask. A standout book of sociological history and current affairs. World of Wonders by Amy Nezuko Matato. The writing dazzles with the marvel of being fully alive. Stakes is High by Michael Denzel Smith. An urgent and provocative work that deserves the broadest possible audience. And Cast by Isabel Wilkerson. A memorable, provocative book that exposes an American history in which few can take pride. To all of the finalists, we needed your voices this year. Thank you for sharing your talent with us, and congratulations to all of you. The winner for the 2020 Kirkus Prize for Nonfiction is Stakes is High by Mike Smith.
Ah. um, uh, wow, wow. Um, I genuinely am just so like excited to be a finalist. I mean that like it's such an honor. I don't expect to win anything ever, and an honor to be a finalist among such an amazing group of authors who are doing incredible work. Thank you to the judges for seeing something in this book. Thank you to Kirkus. $50,000 the day before my birthday. It's nothing to see. It's a lot of money you're responsible with, and I promise I won't let you down. It's genuinely just, my editor, Katie O'Donnell, best editor in the whole world, makes me a better writer. This is as much her award as it is mine, if not more so. My agent, Jessica Papen, who's been with me for so many years and seen me through so many iterations of my career, and who has just been a rock for me. Brooke Parsons, my publicist, who's worked so hard on everything. Miguel and Lindsay and marketing. I'm just thanking all the people that, because this book just doesn't exist without any of them. It's such a, I mean, wow, it's such an honor. I think I was worried about this book. I didn't know how it was going to be received. It kicked my ass writing it. It truly did. I'm a wholly different writer for having done it. And I'm really proud of it. And, you know, I just thought it'll find its audience. And if it flies under the radar of everyone else, that's fine. But it'll find the people that it's meant to find. That it's truly an honor to have that work recognized by Kirkus and by the judges, who I can't thank enough. Obviously, you know, the book deals with a lot of ongoing American political issues. And I hope people will sit with the ideas. I hope that it lives on past this 2020 election, however long that goes on, and that people are willing to sit and wrestle with the narratives, the ideas, the myths of America, and we think better, we ask better questions, that it's meaningful to people to have those questions percolating, to be able to do all of the work that's necessary to make the country that I think we want to live in. I can't say thank you enough to everyone, all of my friends and loved ones who are watching. Much love to you. And yeah, I guess I can pop this celebratory now and smoke a good cigar or something. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Michael. Kiese Lehman prepared this statement from the judges about why they chose your book.
Stakes is High, Life After the American Dream by Michael Denzel Smith. In a tumultuous year charged with injustice, uncertainty, and a distinct lack of leadership, Stakes is High is the perfect call to action needed to push beyond 2020. Michael Denzel Smith's razor-sharp manifesto demands us to question the unexamined inequity built into the individualist core of the problematic concept of the American dream. Smith dares readers not just to rethink and reckon, but to undo what racism, carcerality, greed, heteropatriarchy, and state-sanctioned suffering have wrought on our society. Each impassioned sentence is meticulously crafted and poignant, as the author argues succinctly and vigorously that we are the change we've been waiting for, and our direct communal actions might be the only way to move toward a more progressive, incisive, and inclusive future. With not a word wasted, Smith delivers the book of our very fraught moment.
And now for the final category of the night. Here are the judges for the Kirkus Prize for Fiction. Author Chang-Rae Lee, bookseller Veronica Santiago Liu, and Kirkus critic Amy Ryder. The finalists for the 2020 Kirkus Prize in Fiction are Black Sunday by Tola Rotimi Abraham. Twin sisters cut adrift in a perilous, duplicitous world learn that only the wise survive, a formidable debut. The Lying Life of Adults by Elena Ferrante, translated by Anne Goldstein. A girl, a city, an inhospitable society, Ferrante's formula works again. Luster by Raven Leilani. Sharp, strange, propellant, and a whole lot of fun. Fiebre Tropical by Juli Delgado Lopera. A rich, deeply felt novel about family ties, immigration, sexual longing, faith, and desire, simultaneously raw and luminous. Deacon King Kong by James McBride. An exuberant comic opera set to the music of life. And Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. You will never forget Shuggie Bain. Scene by scene, this book is a masterpiece. Congratulations to all of the finalists. You've touched so many people with your work this year. The winner of the 2020 Kirkus Prize for Fiction is Luster by Raven Leilani.
Oh my God. Thank you. This is really deeply surreal. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kirkus. Thank you. Like, this is just, it's wild to be honestly in the company of such amazing writers who care so much about their craft. Like, it really means so much to me to take up this space. I want to thank first. I want to thank my mom. This has been an interesting year for us. We've had a lot of loss, but I want you to know that you're the reason that I had the nerve to do this, to try and do this, and to write this book, and to be as honest as I could on the page. I really appreciate and thank my family for being the kind of people who made art feel like a worthwhile thing to pursue. I appreciate all the mentors and friends I had who pushed me and challenged me in this when I felt that it was going wrong and when I had to throw things away. It's a real act of faith that it tends to always be, and I really appreciate everyone who has stood by me while I was trying to sum up the courage to do this thing. I really appreciate my people at FSG and Trident. Thank you for helping me usher this book into the world. It has just been the most surreal, but the most special first time around. I'm so thankful for this. Thank you for meeting my faith and for engaging with my work like this. It's a real dream. Thank you to the writers who've lifted me up. So much of this work is solitary, invisible work, and it wouldn't be here if I hadn't had that community and that support. Thank you to everyone who has supported this book. It is just wild. Thank you.
Congratulations, Raven. You are officially the youngest writer to ever win the Kirkus Prize. Chang-Rae Lee prepared this statement from the judges about why your book was selected as this year's winner.
Luster by Raven Leilani. Raven Leilani's debut novel takes off with a bang and never lets up, offering an exhilarating, propulsive literary roller coaster ride, rife with unpredictable twists and turns, dips and soars. With Edie, the unapologetically bold, badass young Black woman at the book's center, Leilani creates an unforgettable character whose agency is as seductive as the urgency with which her unusual story unfolds. The author tackles race and gender, sex, class, and power with a knack for nuance, a generous spirit, and a keen eye for revelatory details, bringing us an eye-opening novel that is candid and compassionate, dangerous and disarmingly original. Emotionally raw and virtuosically polished, Luster feels like both a story that will stand the test of time and the novel we need right now.
Congratulations to all of tonight's winners. The Kirkus Prize would not exist without Herb Simon and Mark Winkleman, the owners of Kirkus Reviews. Thank you for your unwavering support and generosity. I'd also like to thank all of our judges, as well as the editors and staff of Kirkus. A big thank you also to the Austin Public Library for sharing this space with us tonight, and our production team, Heart of the Sun. Before we go, I'd like to take a moment to recognize that while tonight is a night for celebration, many in our community are still suffering from the effects of COVID-19. Please consider donating to independent booksellers and furloughed bookstore employees battling economic hardship through the Book Industry Charitable Foundation. And to support writers tonight, you can donate to the Authors League Fund, which is providing assistance to writers who have experienced income loss due to COVID-19. You can find links to these resources, as well as the full conversations with last year's winners and this year's finalists, by following the link on the bottom of your screen. Thank you for joining us. Good night.